You get this feeling that you are being left behind. What's actually happening here is you are not being left behind, but other people are moving ahead in their own timelines and hitting certain marks before you are. February just happened. Let's talk about that. I want to talk about a very specific feeling that a lot of young men probably have out there, and this is going out to the new generation, the people who are just going into college, high school, whatever, and they see all of their friends start talking to girls and they start having romantic interactions. They see them maybe hold hands for the first time. And when it happens to one friend in a guy's social circle, you might be thinking to yourself, well, you know, that's just one guy. That's no problem. But then, you know, you see more and more of your friends, this starts happening to them. And what happens is you get this. You get lots of guys in a circle. Let's say this is your friend group, right? This one is you. We're gonna color that one in, okay? All right, that one's you. But you see, one guy start pairing off with another one, and then you see more and more friends. This starts happening. And you start wondering, why am I all alone? Why am I all alone here? And so that's a feeling that you get when you see others move ahead or progress in a different timeline than you, okay? So that's the big thing. You get this feeling that you are being left behind. But what's actually happening here is you are not being left behind, but other people are moving ahead in their own timelines and hitting certain marks before you are. And this is an important distinction because there's so much pressure on young guys to know it all, to have everything figured out. Society tells young guys, you need to be making passive income when you're 18. Otherwise, you will be a wage slave for the rest of your life. And you are just going to be a chud incel with no hope of meeting or dating any fine huzz or any girls of general interest within your vicinity. But that is just simply not true. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna erase this, and what I'm gonna show you a little something different here. Wow, that stained pretty badly. Look at that. Oh my God. I don't know if you can see it, but the whole outline's still there. That is rough. That is rough. That wasn't even close to like erasing the thing. All right. Well, that's okay. We're gonna keep going. Okay. So here's the thing. There's gonna be like 3 dudes, right? There's gonna be 1, 2, and then 3. This one's gonna be you. This is the timeline of your life right here. Okay. So you're born here, and then you die over here. Okay, very nice. Your entire life on a billboard. What does this have to do with dating? So let's say your friend over here, we'll call him J, and we'll call this guy C. And Jay, around 14 years old, he's an early starter. He's had a lot of interest in development very early on. So right here at age 14, he might start dating, right? But then maybe C over here, he's more of a late bloomer, and he starts around like, let's say 19 to 20. We'll just say 20. What happens for you in this timeline is that you could either start before J or after C. So you could start maybe at, 12, or you could start at 40, right? So let's just say 40, okay? Now here's what happens. When you are all of these ages right here, you are just seeing that they have an X on their timeline. You are seeing that they have crossed off this milestone of relationships, maturity, experience, etc., etc. And given that it is a common experience in the grand scheme of things to humans, you are going to think that you are way behind if you don't have an X, which stands for your first romantic relationship. You are going to think that you're behind if you don't see an X while you're at 14. And then you see more people at 20, get into relationships, you still don't have one. At this point in time, you can't see this part. All you can see is that other people have the X and you don't. And so this is going to really mess with you if you don't understand that as long as there is an X at some point in your ideally, first half of life, that you are not behind, you do just have a different timeline. And so there's some people that think, oh, well, I don't want to be dating, like when I'm 40. Like, I don't want that to be my first experience. If that's not you, that's okay. And you should absolutely go for that. You should absolutely do what you can to make sure you have that experience before you turn 40. However, just because somebody else has marked that milestone off does not mean you're behind. And so this is specifically relevant because of Valentine's Day. Oh, I didn't have a Valentine's, again this year. But there's a lot of people that are in the same boat as you, number one. And number two, other people, they might have Valentines, but they might not be happy with their Valentines, or they might be in an awkward point in the relationship, thinking about breaking up. There's a lot that can happen here. So don't feel this unnecessary pressure, because this is stuff I wish I knew back in the day. If you take anything away from this, this is just a concrete data point and example of why you should not necessarily put all this undue pressure on yourself to keep up with people in terms of life milestones. Life is pretty long, as it turns out, if you're healthy and if you're lucky to not get into any crazy, death-causing disasters. So when you're looking at your other friends, be happy for them. It's a good chance to practice, lifting other people up. But then also, just don't be complacent if dating earlier is one of the things that you do want to engage in. Because I see all these people online and social media, woe is me, I'm forever alone, I'm chopped, I'm gonna be unk before I ever feel the embrace of a woman. That is not a good mental place to be. And that, I feel like that's also sort of like a pipeline to inceldom. I'm involuntarily celibate. Well, most people on the planet do not have relationships on tap, and the people that do don't even want to be in relationships all that often. So take all of that pressure off of yourself, and that's actually one of the biggest key ways to let some of your best self shine through, is when you take that pressure off. Very difficult to do, but the plan here is take action to achieve the goal. But then as long as you are doing your best, you don't have to worry about the exact timeline in which it's going to happen. Because as long as you are taking action, something is going to happen. You're going to have the wild stories to tell. You're going to have lots of amazing encounters, meet great and horrible people, and you're probably going to learn some life lessons along the way. So with that being said, I hope you all had an amazing Valentine's Day or Palentine's Day. And I would also like to let everybody know that, if you know a couple other single people, get everybody together just to hang out, shoot the breeze, play some board games, drink some boba, have a Palentine's. It's not just a holiday for mass consumerism and only for people that are in romantic relationships. Make your own fun, especially on this day, and I will catch you in the next one.